Hey guys, how's it going? We're back for another Q&A and I'm so happy to be here because it's so beautiful outside. And this is the first time that we've had this gazebo area really cleaned up and it is so nice to be able to use it. So we have all the covers off the couch and I was like, you know what? This is it. This is where we're gonna sit today. It's perfect. So let's get into it. Last week was a good week. It was a very busy week. And then this week is going to also be a very busy week. I've got garden tour coming out for you guys tomorrow. I've got some plant install with Jalen. We're gonna try to work on the road base after I film this video. And so hopefully we get the gravel down in the walkways. It's gonna be a very eventful week. I'm very excited to get the videos out this week. I think they're gonna be really good. So first video was lawn update. Why did I plant so many trees? And then we did the first plants in the new bed and moving the fountain, lawn in bloom, a clematis you need, and spring garden maintenance. And then our plan to build low maintenance garden paths, plant shopping with Jalen, and it was a good week. And Jalen had a lot of fun shopping, and she always loves doing videos together, so it was really nice to do one with her. The first video that we did was the Q&A from last week, and the first question on there was from Lori, and she had said, "Love watching your videos. I live in southeast Minnesota, so I love watching you planting things in February and March when we were still buried in snow. Have you looked into stamped concrete for your patio? I think another name for it is Artcrete. I did this for a back deck and love it. When we had it done, we were told it costs less than pavers, but more than doing just boring concrete pad. Just a suggestion." We haven't gotten any quotes about that. We have talked about doing like a stamped concrete. The only issue is the removal of the pad that I'm currently sitting on. Is that all of this has to come out for them to be able to put it in, and getting equipment back here is really, really hard. That's our only issue. So everything is still up on the air for what we're gonna do for this area. We're gonna get the pathways done. I'm gonna get plants put in the ground. And then I think this is just gonna be like the dead last thing that we do. And we're just gonna maybe have to enjoy this patio for maybe another year, as it is. The next question on that video was from Renee, and she had said, "What kind of willow tree did you say you had in the large pot? I cannot have one in the landscape where I live, but maybe in a pot. I've never even thought of that option." Yeah, so we have a Kilmarnock willow, and ours has been in this container for, I think, going on 5 years at this point. This is probably its 5th spring in that one container. It's a very, very large container, and I fertilize it twice a year, and it's hooked up to irrigation, and it's very happy. And I do see it growing slower and slower because it's probably at this point very root bound, and it probably could use a larger pot than it's in. But I did get the largest one that I could find. There's so many different trees that you can grow in containers. I mean, like, I've got my Magnolia Ricky. It's starting to bloom right now, and I'm so excited about it. And that one gets, I think, 12 feet tall at maturity, so it's not like a huge tree, and that's like 12 feet is like pushing it. And that one has been in its container for, I think, 3 or 4 years at this point now, and I also fertilized that one too. So there's lots of trees that you can grow in containers, especially if you're on like a balcony or a patio. Just know your weight restriction that you can have on that, and kind of you'll have to do some calculations for how heavy everything is, you know, your soil, how much wet soil weighs and all of those things. But you can grow so many things in containers. It's really exciting, and I think everyone should throw a couple trees in containers. The next question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, "Are you going to be treating your birch trees with systemic?" I'm going to be treating all of my trees this year with systemic, especially since we dealt with those wood borers, and I did not know that we dealt with wood borers here. So wood borers, they like birch trees, they like apple trees, they like willow trees, they like alder trees, they like literally every single tree that we have on our property, they like. So all of our trees this year are going to be sprayed, or they're going to be treated with a systemic, just so I don't deal with wood borers. Because after I lost the apple espalier, I don't want to go through that, especially with our willow tree. That is like the last tree that I want to lose. So we will be going in with the systemic. It's not organic. What it does is the tree sucks it up, and then it lives inside the tree, and then these beetles, they go through and they bore into the tree. And when they start eating the tree, they die. So they can't cause too much damage to it. So yes, I will be spraying. And that was the last question for that video. And on that note, there were so many sweet comments from you guys on that video about the greeting and how we start our videos. And so I've always kind of started them with, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And that's what we're gonna do. We're keeping it. We're keeping it. It's easy, it's straightforward, and it does feel very genuine to me, and it's so casual. So that's how we're starting our videos. Thank you guys for saying all of that. The next video that we did was first plants in the new bed and moving the fountain, and it's so exciting to get a couple plants in there. It's only 3 plants, but it is very exciting because it means that things are actually happening. And I think my next thing that I want to get in there, well, Jalen's gonna come up and she's gonna plant everything that she picked out. But the next thing that I want to get in there is dahlias. And my dahlias, you guys, they're getting ready to bloom inside the house. I have dahlias starting to bloom. That's crazy. So they need to get planted in the ground ASAP. The first question on that video is from Vicky, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, have you considered the propane torch from Amazon for killing your grass versus spraying? We bought one last year and it works great." We have one and I didn't love it. I feel like I was having to stand there way too long to kill each and every weed, and we get a lot of weeds that grow in our like driveway and throughout the property. So I don't think we're gonna go with the blowtorch one. While it looks really cool and it looks really fun, we've got like a smaller one, and I was like, this is taking way too long. So, and it just kills the top, and you have to like hold it on there to make sure that you actually kill the root also. So we're not gonna go with the torch one. We are gonna end up spraying or hand pulling. Combination of both. The next question on that video is from JL, and they had said, "Hey Robbie, it looks beautiful. Do you think a brick paver under the fountain would give it more support, also prevent the settling? Thanks for sharing." Once that bed settles, I will be doing some type of paver underneath it. I didn't want to do it now because I could put brick pavers in there and it would the soil would settle under those brick pavers. That's all just so fresh and fluffy that I really do need it to settle a little bit. That's the only reason that I didn't put any pavers there, because even if I put the pavers there, the pavers would move themselves. So eventually I will put a paver there, and I will make it so that way it is like dead level. Once all that settles, it'll probably be at least a year before all of that. Like it's so deep right there. It's like 14 inches, 15 inches of soil just right there. And so that all has to compact at some point. So once it compacts, then I will be putting in like I've got those bricks. I'll just throw a couple bricks down and make sure that the bricks are dead level so that way it doesn't tilt or shift on me. The next question on that video is from Hein, and they had said, "Robbie and Brent, do you have squirrel and rabbit problems?" We typically don't. We have a couple squirrels that we've like just recently started to get, and they're really funny because they're really, really fat. So I know they're eating really well, but we haven't seen them in a couple months. Actually, since the pecan tree's been taken out, we haven't seen them, which has been really nice because I was a little nervous about like seeing squirrels. I was like, oh, they're so cute, but I really don't want to see squirrels around here. Yeah, our biggest issue is gophers and moles. We don't really deal with squirrels, and we don't deal with rabbits at all here. There's like, out in the orchards, there's rabbits, and those are just jackrabbits, so they do not come into like the suburbs area. The next question on that video is from Fox Garden. They had said, "Great job. Question, do you have some particular design layout for your flower beds and buy plants accordingly, or do you just plant on the go?" This year is going to be kind of a mix of both of these. I like to really experiment in the garden, hence why it's taken us so long to do this design, because I really wanted to try out a whole bunch of different things. And so with this layout, my plan this year is to do almost all annuals and just test out what I'm enjoying, see what I really do like, what I don't want to grow. And then maybe next year I'll go in with some like shrubs. I'm sure I'll throw in maybe a couple shrubs, a couple evergreens, a couple little things into this. But I don't want it to be, I don't want to jam pack it full of anything and be like, oh shoot, I do hate that. So this year I really want to like just have lots of color. I missed having a lot of color last year. So I want big impact, lots of color, lots of things, lots of different textures in that bed. So this year there's a very loose plan. I do have a general idea. I've got some things that are coming that I do know exactly where they're going to go in those beds, but for the most part, it's going to be just a very like loose plan. The next question on that video is from Mark, and he had said, "Is there a danger of the lightweight fountain getting blown over in such an exposed location?" I will tell you, we just had a storm that blew through with the fountain where it's at, and we had gusts that were about 45 miles an hour, and it didn't even move. It did not move at all. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue for that. I was a little nervous. I was like, "Ooh, should we go lay it on its side?" And we never did. But yeah, it's still going, and it hasn't settled or rocked too much of anything, and so it still looks absolutely perfect, and there was zero issue with the wind blowing it over. The next question on that video is from Doo-Wop Shop Gal, and she had said, "Is there a way that you could show us how to set up your water fountain to irrigation? That sounds like a great idea, but I wouldn't know how to start that." It's really super simple. So the same hole that your electrical goes through for your pump, you run a black tubing line just right up that. It's really straightforward. Almost all of our fountains are ran that exact same way. Anywhere that the electrical comes out, you run black tubing, and then you pop like a 2 gallon per hour emitter on it, and then it just auto refills every time your irrigation goes off. You just have to make sure that it's higher than the water line. If it's in the water and it's like below the water, what'll happen is it'll push out the water, and then it'll siphon back down and it'll completely drain your fountain. So you want to make sure that it's higher than where the water is, but it's really straightforward. It's not scary at all. And once you do it, you'll be very, very happy. We have one that is not set up on irrigation, and it's our small one, our round one that's from Pottery Barn. Just because kind of where it's at, the cord that's on it lays really flat to the pedestal, and it doesn't empty all that often. We have to refill that one maybe once a week. But our ones that do splash and lose a lot of water, hook all of those up to irrigation. It's so worth it. It's really not scary or intimidating at all. Just run your 1/4-inch black tubing and connect it to your current irrigation. The next question on that video is from Proud Mama, and she had said that Scabiosa is so soft and cottagey. Love it. Congrats on the first planting. Do you like cosmos? We love cosmos at this house. We will be putting cosmos in this bed. Cosmos are one of our favorite flowers to grow. Cosmos and zinnias, I love growing those, and sunflowers. Very cottagey, very sweet, very beautiful flowers. We actually did the entire front of our property 2 years in a row full of cosmos. And the amount of people that would stop and stare and take pictures, we had a couple people that stole a couple of them, literally, on security footage. We saw them coming in, ripping them out. But I mean, I guess they just wanted some flowers. But yes, we love cosmos. I think they're so beautiful, very whimsical, very magical. If they are over fertilized though, you don't get flowers, you just get foliar growth. So you want to grow them in like the worst soil possible. So like growing them in that bed might not be an option, because that's very like rich soil. And if cosmos get too much, you just get green growth and you get a huge plant and they don't produce flowers. So rocky soil, crummy soil, throw cosmos seeds down. I don't even really like start them. I typically just throw seeds down. The last question on that video is from Val, and she had said, the way you planted the Scabiosa, would that be considered a drift? If not, how many plants would be used to considered a drift? So when planting a drift, it's minimum 3 plants. That's just and that's considered a very small drift. And I consider that more of just like a little pocket of plants. I will still refer to it as a drift, but really like a drift to me is something that it drifts on. It goes for a long time. So I would say 5 to 7 plants really is like the minimum for a drift. Like I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of Supertunias in this bed, and I think I'm doing 10 of them, and that's what I would consider a more impactful drift. So 3 is technically still a drift. I consider it more of a pocket, but I would say like 5 is more of a impactful drift, and anything higher than that is better. The next video that we did was lawn in bloom and a clematis you need with spring garden maintenance. And oh man, the clematis is still blooming and it smells so good. It's the Clematis ormandii, and you guys, if you can find it, get it. You need it in your garden. The first question on that video was from Oak Plant, and they had said, hi Robbie, do you keep your tulips in or do you dig them out in your zone? I typically leave them in the ground, and when I'm leaving them in the ground, I know that they're not coming back for me. I don't have the ability to dig and divide and store all of those tulips, so they require such a long chill period. If I do plant tulips, I reorder bulbs every single year. It's just not worth it for me to try and even rely on them to come back at all. The next question on that video is from Mikey, and they had said, I have a hothouse full of geraniums and I honestly cannot smell anything. What is it you smell? So I think it's all personal preference, because I've had multiple people that commented saying that they do smell it and a lot of people saying that they don't smell it. For me, it is geraniums and petunias, and they just smell so bad to me. They smell like sour almost, and I don't know what it is. It's a very specific smell, and I don't smell it on anything else. And so some people I think smell it and some people don't smell it. I have no clue what it is, but I know a lot of people, it's either you smell it or you don't smell it. And if you smell it, you just can't stand the smell of it. Brent does not like the smell of petunias more than me. And I cannot stand the smell of geraniums, whereas I don't think he minds them as much, right?
Yeah, I can smell them. They're not pleasant.
He says that he can smell it. They're not pleasant, but it's not the end of the world to him, where for me, I just cannot stand the smell of geraniums. And it's the foliar growth. And it's not just when they're just sitting there. It's when you start messing with them, or like if there's a gust of wind that comes and it moves the leaves, and I have no clue. I just cannot stand the smell of them. They're so pretty though. I do like them. And I like the ones that have the colored foliar growth. I think they're so pretty. I can't do it. The next question on that video is from Feisty Citrus, and they had said, "Hi Robbie and Brent, not related to this video, but can you tell me the paint sprayer you have that you love? I remember you speaking of it on another video, but can't find it and didn't see it in your Amazon store either. Thank you." I will update my Amazon store. I cannot believe that it is not in there. It is on our blog. So if you go to our website, visit ourgarden.blog, and under the blog tab, there is a section, paint colors. There's a blog post about paint colors, and all my paint colors are in there that we use, and all of the supplies that we use, which is also the paint sprayer. It is the HomeRight paint sprayer from Amazon, and it was the best paint sprayer we ever had. It did die. It just died. We had it for, I think, 8 years, almost 7 years. We've had it the entire time we've lived here, and I think we had it 2 years when we lived at our last house. So 7 years, maybe 8 years, we had that thing. Best investment ever. We painted the entire outside of our house. We've painted projects. We have painted our shed, the chicken coop, the aviary, our entire fence. That thing was used and abused. So it got a lot of love out of that thing, and we will be ordering another one, the exact same brand. There's no reason for us to switch brands. I absolutely love it. I was reading reviews the other day on it though, and there were some people who were like, I hate this thing, but I think for like casual home projects and things like that, it's the perfect house sprayer, or the perfect paint sprayer. If you're looking for something that's like high professional, that gets you that super glossy finish, and that's not what we're doing here. We're just trying to get some paint on some things, okay? It works beautifully. I absolutely love it. The next question on that video is from Glow, and they had said, "I'm excited to see your backyard when it's all completed. I'm so excited for you. I do have a question. Does your clematis attract bees? Thank you for your time." It does attract bees. Bees do love it. It's a great clematis, and I think everyone should have it. It's so beautiful. The bees do like it. I'm not even seeing any bees on it right now, though. Usually I see some bees on it. They're not on it right now. Maybe because it's just getting into the sun, so maybe it's just, I don't know. It's really weird that I don't see any bees on it. There's usually lots of bees. And the next question on that video is from Marsha, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, where are you getting your clematis armandii? Online, it starts at $50 and up. Thanks." Don't buy it online. See if you can find it at a local nursery, or tell your local nurseries that that's a plant that you want, and see if they can get it in. I found mine at Magnolia. That's actually where Janie also got hers from, was Magnolia in Chico, California. And I want to say they were like 20 bucks a piece or something like that, $12.99 a piece. I mean, they were like little plants. They were in 1-gallon containers, but they grow so incredibly fast. Don't pay $50 for a clematis armandii. That's absolutely insane. The next question on that video is from Kristen, and she had said, "Is the clematis only spring blooming?" It is only spring blooming, and it just blooms for just maybe a month at most. It's a very short bloom, and then it's just an evergreen vine. And the last question on that video is from Jacqueline, and she had said, "Is the clematis also called Autumn Joy?" This one is not Autumn Joy. So there is the clematis Autumn Joy, and that one is deciduous, and that one does bloom in the autumn. And then this one is the clematis armandii, and they look very, very similar, but this one is an evergreen, and this one only blooms in the springtime. So they look very similar, have the same color blooms, the same style of blooms, but 2 separate bloom times, and then one is deciduous and one is not. The next video that we did was our plan to build low maintenance garden paths, and oh man, the motivation has run out. I'm telling you right now, motivation is gone. I'm so excited to get it done. I'm already so tired. I am so not excited to continue to move wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow full of gravel. And then we get that in, and then we have to bring in more wheelbarrows full of more gravel so it looks even prettier. I'm just so not excited about it. The gravel's here. It just needs to get installed. The first question on that video is from Dennis, and they had said, "Rob, did you toss out the creeping Jenny that you pulled out?" I do toss the creeping Jenny that we pull out. And I'm pulling out a ton more, and it's all just gonna go right into the compost, except for I think, or it's gonna go in the yard waste bin, except for I think a couple pieces I'm gonna save, and I'll use them in containers. I'll just like transplant those into containers right now. But for the most part, I'm pulling it, and it's out of here. The next question on that video is from Zane, and they had said, you have that good weather now? It's coming and going in waves. Yes, we're having good weather, and then we have rainstorms, and it's freezing cold. Well, okay, it's not freezing cold. I should not say that. It's really cold, and then it heats back up to 70 degrees, and so it's throwing a lot of things through a loop, and a lot of my plants are very, very confused. I already have things that are bolting because we've had way too hot of days, and yeah, I have my roses, they're already throwing out buds, so things are very confused here. The next question on that video is from iArtist, and they had said, question, what are your plans for dealing with all of the tiny weeds that grow in the gravel? I've given up and will replace landscape fabric and rocks with large stepping stones and have no idea what else to do. The weeds form a green carpet in the, that sucks, carpet in the rock bed, and I can't do normal weeding due to the fabric. It is just sit and pull using my fingertips. I'm an organic gardener, so no sprays to drift into the plants. I tried vinegar, which works, but was costing a ton since it had to be applied constantly. Help. So with landscape fabric is to stop current weeds that are there. It's not to prevent any weeds. It will not prevent any weeds from, it's not going to prevent new weeds. It's just going to prevent the weed seeds that are already down from germinating and coming up. They'll germinate, but they'll die because they won't get any light. If you're wanting to stop weeds, I mean, we hand pull a lot of weeds, especially in our driveway. We hand pull pretty much everything. If you're not wanting to spray, you could always try the torch method. So it's just getting propane and you hook it up to a torch that can go upside down, and you can just do it that way. It's just time. I've known a lot of people that do that, and vinegar is definitely expensive. You could also try looking at, like if you have a kitchen store or a home chef store, look at one of those and see if you can buy vinegar in large quantities. It's usually much cheaper that way because it's usually like a restaurant store, and most places you don't even have to have like a license or anything like that to go, and you just go in and you're just basically buying things in bulk. Other than that, it's spray. You're either gonna hand pull, use vinegar, use fire, or you're gonna spray. I think those are really your only options. The next question on that video is from Fran, and she had said, hello, sir. My gosh, you two are really working hard. It's coming along nicely. What style of garden are you going for? Cottage, traditional, Mediterranean, etc.? I think that I'm curating my own style, and it is going to be cottage formal. So I want touches of formality with bits of cottage sprinkled in everywhere. So my plan is to kind of get the two to mesh together. This year I do want to do lots of cosmos, lots of zinnias, lots of sunflowers, because those are very cottagey, but then I want things like espalier, and I want things like rolled rim terracotta, and I want things like formal lines and things like that, and nicely pruned spirals and topiaries, but I also want the freeness of a lot of other plants. So I'm gonna try to, my goal is to seamlessly mesh everything together of those two styles. The next question on that video is from Miss Carter, and she had said, what is the situation with your back alley? The compost and the road base seem to block it, so do your neighbors not use it? I can only assume you are an end house. Any plans for landscaping back there? So the alleyway is actually it's an easement, so that's where all of like power and everything comes from. Nobody uses the back alleyway. Nobody's driveways on our road or on our alley is in the back alley, so no one uses it. Everyone's fence butts right up to it. Ours is actually set back because we do use this setback section as storage and things like that. So yeah, right now the road base is blocking the alleyway, but I think in the like 5 years we've been here, I've probably seen maybe a total of 10 people drive a vehicle through there, and maybe 4 of those were our electric company driving through. Nobody uses it. One of our neighbors, he maintains it. He mows the entire strip down it in the spring and summertime when it needs to be mowed. And our next door neighbor actually came over and he helped us because he saw that we had the pile, and he said that he had seen it and he saw us moving some of the dirt, and he came over and he actually helped us fill up a couple wheelbarrows and load them into the jelly bean beds. Nobody uses the back alleyway, so I mean, we're not worried about it, and I don't think any of our other neighbors are worried about it at all. And 0 plans to landscape back there because that would just be a total waste. Nobody's going back there. Nobody's landscaping back there at all. And the last question on that video is from It's Garden Time, and they had said, Robbie, I wanted to share an idea with you. In your new garden bed with the birch trees, you could plant something in the corner, like a shrub, so it covers a little of the path and will create, I guess, what you were looking for, mystery, what's behind it. I'm starting to do that in my own garden, and it feels like a secret garden. And that's also exactly what I want. I do plan to put some type of shrub or evergreen or something like that, just to, I do want it so you never know what's around the corner. I want it to be lots of like little surprises, and I want it to draw you in. So I do plan to do a lot of that, and that way there's no clear path anymore in my garden, because you used to be able to stand on the back porch and you could see straight back to the fence, and I don't want that in my garden. And the last video that we did was plant shopping. Let my sister pick everything. And she had so much fun doing that video. She loves making YouTube videos with me, and she loves to read the comments. She's like, they love me. She's so ridiculous. So anytime you guys comment about her, she reads every single comment, and they make her day a million times better. So I've got another video. We're gonna be filming it in the next day or two when she comes up here. I've got another video with her gonna be in it. Comment away on that video about her. It will make a teenager's day. She's 17 years old, and she just thinks this is the coolest thing ever. So I love hanging out with her, and if you guys comment, it will make her day, and it will make me seem even cooler than I already am. The first question on that video is from JRP, and they had said, as you are beginning planting your jelly beans, do you want to consider evergreen interest? I do want to consider some. I do plan to do some shrubs and things in there. I do plan to do maybe even a couple small trees in there. This year I'll put a few things in there, but I'm not going to put much because I want to live with the space. I'm not a fast gardener at all. I'm a very, very slow gardener, and it takes me a very long time to make a decision. And then when I make it, there's like a 50% chance that I'm not happy with the decision that I made. So I'm gonna live with the space, and then I will add some shrubs and some evergreens and things into there until I can really get more of a better plan. So this year I want to do a very loose plan, lots and lots of annuals, lots of colors, and then next year I want to add in lots of shrubs and more evergreen interest to it. And the next question on that video is from Payette, and they had said, hi Robbie, I'm your new subscriber and I'm going to start my garden soon. May I ask why it is better to buy plants in either 1, 3, or 5? Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here. And it's so exciting that you're starting a garden. And it's best to do 1s, 3s, or 5s. 2 is kind of a weird number in the garden. You'll have 2 plants just sitting right next to each other, and that always just kind of looks awkward. So if you can kind of like create a triangle with it, it looks really good. Or if you can have it just be one kind of statement standalone plant, it looks good. Or if you do 5s, you can kind of create little triangles out of that 5 with it, and things can be staggered. 4 of them, you've got 2 next to each other, 2 next to each other, or they're just slightly offset, and it just looks like kind of sort of unfinished a little bit. So it's really best to go with 1s, 3, 5s, 7s, 9s, things like that. It just creates a softer look to the eye when you start adding more plants to it. I think once you get over a certain number, it really doesn't matter how many you add. It could be even or odd. When you're doing those small little groupings, it's really best to just keep it like an odd number. It's just more visually pleasing. And I will say, don't do what I did my first couple years gardening. Do where you invest in, 5 plants that are the exact same plant. I started out and I would be like, okay, I want this plant and this plant and this plant and this plant. And I would buy 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then your garden looks messy and you don't get a lot of impact to it. I have lots of areas where I did annuals and all my annuals were 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It doesn't give the impact that you want. And you're like, well, I wanted all the plants and the budget only allowed for me to have 10 plants. It's best, okay, just do 3 of this plant, do 1 of this plant, do 3 of this plant, and then do maybe 5 of another plant or something like that. Just try to do larger numbers. That's like the biggest tip that I can give you. Learn from my mistake. And the last question for the week was from Mick or Snooping. They had said, morning Robbie and Brent, love all the plants you bought. Did you buy the frog for Brent? Also, I didn't know about the 1, 3, or 5. It makes sense. I'm learning something new. I almost forgot. Hi, Jalen. Good job on choosing the new plants. And I forgot to grab the frog. I really wanted to grab that frog for him, and I cannot believe I forgot. So I guess we're gonna have to go back down to Green Acres at some point. I do want to go check out some of their other locations in the Sacramento area. I think they've got 4 locations. They also have 1 location in Texas. So I will be going back, and I do want to pick up a frog when we go down there because they were so cute. They were so funny. Did you like the frogs? He liked the frogs. And Jalen really liked the big, huge frog. He's shaking his head. Yes, he likes the big, huge frog also. I don't know if I could like mentally put a big, huge frog in the garden, but like one of those like little ones, like medium-sized ones, I thought those were so cute. And this would be kind of like a little fun surprise in the garden. So that is going to be it, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed this Q&A. I have 0 announcements for the week. And I have a lot of traveling coming up this year. I've just confirmed a ton of plans and I'm very excited about it. So I'm very excited to take you along with me on those. They are like private things that I'm going to and I'm very excited about it, but I do get to film when I'm there. So I get to take you guys along with me on all of those trips. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching the videos. And this last week has been this last month has been absolutely insane. Our first month doing this full time. And it's been a real treat to have you guys here with me. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.